BLTs are a classic, but let's be real, sometimes they need an upgrade. They just do. This isn't just any BLT. We're bringing bold flavors, smoky bacon, fire-roasted poblanos, and a creamy cilantro aioli to this table. This is the BLT that will change the way you think about BLTs forever. Okay, so BLTs. Great sandwich. I'm not the biggest fan of BLTs, and that's why I want to do this video today because... Alright, BLTs. That's what we're making today. I'm very excited about this recipe because it's not going to be your typical BLT, and honestly, there's a lot of renditions these days that just aren't your typical bacon, lettuce, tomato. Come on, we don't want it just bacon, lettuce, and tomato. We want a little bit more to this. And, fun fact, I just made my first bacon ever out of a pork belly. So that's going to be included in today's recipe. If you want to know how I seasoned and cured it, check back to my Montreal smoked meat recipe. It's right there. You can check back to that. It's the same process. 5-7 days, flipping it over and over in the fridge in that curing mixture. And then, you know, you give it about 24 hours after a good rinse, get all the seasoning off, give it a good rinse, and then let it sit for 24 hours, smoke for 2 to 3. That's how long the bacon takes. But I will do a recipe on that. So let's go ahead and let's make this shit. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so these are all the ingredients I'm going to use to make the cilantro aioli. And you don't have to use as much garlic as I'm using. It's perfectly fine. So we're going to go ahead and start just chopping up this jalapeno here because it does not really work well in my ninja version of the bullet. And then 1 whole lemon, going to go ahead and juice that into there. Then I'm going to follow up with about a handful of cilantro and then 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of olive oil. Put that in there. Then I'm going to come in with some kosher salt, and this is going to be about 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, and the same for some fresh ground black pepper. Now you may be wondering why I'm about to do what I'm about to do here, if I can say it like that. So with the garlic cloves, I am actually going to chop them up a little bit after taking off the little woody bits because they don't blend that well in the blender if you keep them whole. I just learned about this. It's a really interesting fact. Now at this point, I realized I want to add some more olive oil because I'm going to cut this recipe into 2. And what I mean is I had an idea for another sauce, and these ingredients include the same ingredients for this other sauce I want to test out. So I added a bit more olive oil. You don't have to do that. Trust me, you really don't have to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add about 1 cup of mayo. Now for our tomatoes, I'm using heirloom tomatoes here. And I'm going to cut off this end right here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put these into nice thick slices. You can use whatever kind of tomato you want. I felt like heirlooms are beautiful inside, and I really wanted the good color and the good taste of a good heirloom tomato. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our poblanos. So for the poblanos, I'm going to go ahead and carefully core these out. Be very careful. You can use a smaller knife. You don't need to be crazy like I am. And then I'm just going to give them a slight smash, just very gently, just like that, just so that I can go ahead and flatten them out before I start grilling them. So onto a tray, I'm going to go ahead and grill these up. I didn't oil them because they're over a direct flame. So if you're using your grill, you can definitely do that. I just didn't want to, I don't know, maybe cause a house fire. Who knows? But once they are all done, I'm going to go ahead and transfer them into a Ziploc bag to peel later. We want to peel off all those skins. See, there they are in that bag. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start working the bacon. So I'm going to add a bunch of slices of bacon. I think total I had like 8 or 6. And then blend my aioli while that bacon is cooking. So here I am. I'm just going to go ahead and scrape off all of the char as much as I can. You can put these into an ice bath. It's perfectly fine. But I just want to scrape that all off. And now these are nice and flat, and I've got good pockets inside of them. So I'm going to take some goat cheddar cheese. You don't need to use goat cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want. I'm going to give these nice slices, and I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces of cheese into the poblanos.
once all this stuffing is done, I'm going to then take the poblanos, put them on a baking sheet, and put them in my oven. My oven's at about 350, 375, and I'm going to pay close attention here because I want to just make sure that the cheese gets nice and melted. While that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and sear up, toast for that matter, some bread and some of that oil there, that bacon fat that we had from earlier. And yeah, I'm using sourdough bread here, but you use whatever kind of bread you want. And then it comes down to the plating. So we're going to start off with our tomatoes, and then we're going to move on to salting and peppering them. I'm just using about a tablespoon and a half of each. I'm eyeballing it here. And then some lettuce. And honestly, at this point, I realized I should have probably put the bacon at the bottom, but oh well, it worked out. And then I'm going to put on our nice, lovely bacon with that Montreal seasoning that I had. And then our poblano. Look at that. Amazing. And then our lovely aioli. So I have to say, this was an awesome dish. I was very excited about this because I'm not a big fan of most BLTs. This one came out really well. And yeah, we're pretty much ready here to go ahead and finish up however much aioli I want on there, which is a lot because it's very delicious, and eat this sandwich.
All right, the BLT is done, and I have to say, this is a different one. I haven't seen a BLT like this before. You know, people add avocado or whatever, but I'm really excited about the poblano stuff with goat cheese. Kudos to my wife. She actually said to stuff the poblano. So here we are. See how this tastes. Wow. That is a really good BLT. Wow. Insane. Now, you don't have to use goat cheese. You can use whatever kind of cheese. This is just goat cheddar, but this is so damn good. And I'm going to keep this in my recipe book, so I'm going to keep working on this one, keep making it. But yeah, so we're done here. I'm out, and cheers.